I have a client that went from $65 million in gross commission income to $100 million gross commission income in 9 months of working together. We followed specific steps in order to optimize every different area of her business, and I'm gonna be sharing those steps with you guys today. My name's Kate Simon, and I lead coaches, CEOs, and entrepreneurs to hit their organizational goals through personal and organizational development. So the first thing that this client and I did is we took a look at her regular interactions with the salespeople on her team. We started with the question of how frequently are you doing your one-on-one calls? So the first thing we did was set the expectation that she would have one-on-one coaching calls every other week with the key people in her organization. Now, within those one-on-ones, when we started working together, she was meeting with a few people on a Monday, a few people on a Wednesday, maybe a few on a Thursday. And the challenge with that is something inevitably would always get in the way with her meeting with people on a recurring basis, right? She's a very busy mom. She's an entrepreneur. They have several different businesses going on. And so she couldn't necessarily guarantee that the time slot she had open on a Thursday would be available for the same person that the time slot was open for on a Monday, for instance. So the first thing I encouraged her to do was put all of her one-on-ones with her key people 1 day a week. Now, here's how that ended up being a benefit to her. Number one, she knew looking at her calendar that Thursdays were her one-on-one days, which means she wasn't going on appointments, she wasn't scheduling anything else, and when she got to the office every day, she prepared her one-on-one agenda and worked through it with every single person on her schedule. Now, secondary, there's a benefit here that when you're doing the same activity over and over again, you're actually getting better and more efficient at it quicker. Rather than sprinkling 10 to 12 one-on-ones throughout the week, she got them all done once on a Thursday, every other Thursday, and she ended up getting much better at her one-on-ones and getting more out of the clients that she was meeting with. Okay, so another note, which is like 1.5, would be we worked on the format of her one-on-ones. Now, I'm not gonna get into the format right here. There actually is a previous video I did on the ideal format of a one-on-one coaching session, but we got really intentional with the questions she was asking her agents and also the homework assignments she was giving. We were making sure that she was able to identify the real problem going on that's interfering from them hitting the goal they want to hit, and making sure that she's giving them the right prescriptive action for the problem that they're trying to solve. So the second thing we worked on was building a skills-based training calendar for the salespeople on her team. Now, you might be thinking, well, Kate, that's a no-brainer. Shouldn't everybody be teaching their salespeople the skills that they need to succeed? And the short answer is, of course, but the long answer is not every leader understands exactly what the skill deficit is and how they should build a calendar accordingly. So do me a favor, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I'll be breaking down how to build a high-impact training calendar that actually solves the problem that your organization is having. Let me give you an example of what this client did. Instead of having a random training on social media or a random training on this lead source or how to use this new technology tool, we made sure that every single training she brought her agents in to do had an intended goal and an intended result in mind. So we had a goal to help her team get more proficient in taking listings, which means practicing the listing presentation, practicing pricing, practicing price reductions, and any negotiation within that. And so within the first couple months of us dialing in this listing training, her team actually built up an inventory of 55 plus listings at any given time. That's an example of how we shifted her focus from random trainings that, might sound good in the moment to actually holding the training calendar accountable to the results that she wanted to see, which in this case was more listings taken. Alternately, right now, we're working on actually getting those listings sold. And so we're doing a really big emphasis on the correct pricing out of the gate and pricing strategies to reduce overpriced listings. And so we have a whole 30 to 45 day push where that is the only content that we are helping these salespeople master over the next 45 days. And so the second thing we implemented was making sure that the training that we're bringing the agents in to do has a direct impact on the sales goal that the organization has for them. Okay, so the third thing we did to increase her business by 60% in 9 months is we got serious about recruiting. And in recruiting, we first had to decide who is her agent avatar. Now, if you've never gone through this activity before, deciding who your agent avatar is really answers the question of who is your client? Now, you might be thinking, Kate, I am just getting started. Everybody's my client. And listen, we've all been there. The challenge is when everybody is your client, we start to compromise on the level of service we're able to offer to a broad scope of people. And so once you have some experience under your belt, we actually recommend that you narrow down who your client avatar is so that you can serve them better. That's what we focused on within the last 9 months of identifying who is the agent that you want on your team. What are their qualities? How do they show up? Are they accountable or are they not accountable? Are they into practicing their skills or would they rather just get leads on a silver platter, right? Like we had to identify who on your team is showing up as an ideal team player, what are their characteristics, and then how do we go about finding those characteristics out there and causing the phone to ring. So we got serious with recruiting in a couple ways. Number one, she actually was intentional about showcasing the wins of the people on her team on social media. How we do this is we take the pieces of the value prop that we want others to know, and we find a way to say how Johnny is winning in our system because of the value he's received on the team. So what this might look like is, congratulations to Johnny on this new listing taken. He was able to get this listing at the correct price after studying our pricing strategies that we've used at such and such real estate group for the last 60 days. So you're congratulating Johnny on the results that he had, but you're also tying it back to the action that he took within your world. So what we're doing here is we're showcasing people winning, and we're subtly letting the world know that they're winning in your world because of the things that you provide. Next, as far as recruiting goes, we've gotten intentional about connecting with people in the community and coming from a place of value. So she's recently started a local mastermind group where she gets top producers in the same room and they spend 3 to 4 hours brainstorming specific topics. Now, this is not a recruiting event. This is not a sales event. This is an event where she shows up as a leader, comes from contribution, leads the conversations, and pours as much value as she can into the people. What ultimately happens as a result of this, and it might not be directly right away, but what happens is people are like, she knows what she's talking about. She is stepping into the role of a leader. I need to follow a leader like that. And there's been a handful of calls that she's gotten of people that are curious in joining her organization because of how she shows up as a leader outside of just her team that she works with. So while we've done a lot of other things, the last thing I think she's really leaned into in this last year, which has made all the difference, is she has really leaned into rewarding individual agents for hitting their goals and also incentivizing the team as a whole for the actions that she wants them to take. So for instance, this is the same team that still has an inventory of 45 listings. I just talked to her today, and we have a contest going on that every single price reduction she gets, that's $10,000 or more from an agent on her team, they earn a $50 gift card, or maybe it's more than that, but they earn a gift card to cash in at the store of their choice. And we were laughing that even though they stand to make a commission check from reducing the price of their listing, they're actually more excited to win this gift card than they are to actually sell the listing. And so how I would really categorize that is she's making the results that she's after fun for each individual agent. And because we've taken these deliberate steps and quite a few others as well, she's been able to grow her business by 60%. And not only that, but each individual agent on her team is currently making more money and selling more houses than they ever have. So follow these steps if you're looking for a 60% growth in your organization in the next 9 months, and drop in the comment below which one has the strongest effect for you guys. See you at the next video.